It was supposed to be a gathering tonight to remember a local police officer killed in the line of duty, but the threat of bad weather forced a postponement. That event is held every year to remember Pea Ridge police officer Kevin Apple, who was killed 5 years ago today. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard joining us now in the studio to tell us it's been 5 years since his death.
Yeah, Darren, since the memorial held at White Oaks convenience store in Pea Ridge is outside, they made the decision to postpone the vigil. One officer told me that they could move it to another location, but that location means so much to them, and they couldn't imagine honoring Kevin anywhere else.
Every single person that he encountered, especially here that he worked with, he made sure to put a smile on their face at least once a day.
5 years after Apple's death, Lieutenant Langham says it's the everyday interactions he misses the most.
He would make some elaborate pranks and plans, and he was patient beyond belief to watch it happen. He was a character. He very much was a character, and a truly lovable character.
Kevin Apple was killed on June 26, 2021, after responding to a call at this Pea Ridge convenience station. Officers say he was pinned between two vehicles when a woman tried to drive away.
Even after the department kind of got back to normal and we started to normalize again, I realized that that wasn't here. And I don't know that we'll ever quite get that atmosphere back without him.
A memorial is now planted just a few feet from where Apple lost his life.
It's a very sacred place to us. It's truly where we get to remember him, because that's the last place that he was. Even to think about doing it elsewhere is a tough one.
Langham says Officer Apple is still remembered every day through a blood drive in his name and by the officers who came in after his passing.
I think Kevin taught me a little bit about brotherly love. I will never be able to forget Kevin, and I don't want to forget Kevin.
Lieutenant John Langham told me the department is still deciding when they will have the vigil. Shauna Cash, the woman convicted of running over and killing Kevin Apple, is still serving her life sentence in prison. You may remember the Arkansas Supreme Court denied her appeal earlier this year. Darren.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that. Good story tonight. The Sebastian County Emergency Dispatch Center responding after concerns were raised by Fort Smith Board of Directors this week. They say a person was given unauthorized access to the center's dispatch software. Dispatch Center says it happened back in February. The unauthorized access came from outside the country and threatened the officer's ability to use a terminal that accesses a state database for running vehicle tags. Leaders say no data was lost, but it was a breach of access rules in their contract with the software provider.
There was absolutely no data loss, and there was no ill intent with the access that was unauthorized. This was a matter of them supporting the system and failed to uphold the CJIS principles. But the violation was serious enough that it threatened our ability to do our job, and that's what couldn't be ignored.
After the incident, Fort Smith terminated the contract with the software provider. The city is now asking for a $1.2 million refund. In Washington County, a 22-year-old Rogers man sentenced to 40 years in prison after raping a 14-year-old 5 years ago. After a 4-day trial, jurors convicted David Robinson, on one count of rape. Robinson was 17 years old at the time of the crime, but turned 18 only 10 days after that offense. Because of the seriousness of the crime, the state elected to charge Robinson as an adult. Washington County Deputy Prosecutor Allison Anderson says it took a lot of courage for victims to come forward and ultimately put Robinson behind bars.
These victims had every reason not to come forward. They testified about how their parents didn't believe them, how the defendant had threatened them. This is 5 years to the week of her rape. And she actually conceived a child as a result of the rape, and so she's certainly had a difficult healing journey. But all of them were incredibly brave and courageous, and we appreciate them coming forward and cooperating.
Robinson also is facing charges in Benton County and has a trial date there for next week. All new tonight at 10, a group working to put a question on the November ballot in Arkansas to preserve the ballot initiative process says it is collecting signatures for only a few more days. Protect Our Rights says it's trying to get the ballot measure rights amendment to voters this November. Members say it would protect citizens' rights to proposed ballot measures and collect petition signatures. Comes after Act 236 was passed 3 years ago that changed petition requirements. Leaders told us today why they believe the amendment is important for voters to decide.
In other states, we've seen citizens use these laws to pass measures that have been taken away. So in other states, we've seen some abortion rights restored. We've seen in Arkansas, even minimum wage increases. We've seen term limits placed on some of our elected officials through this process.
Protect Our Rights is collecting signatures until Monday. They need more than 90,000 of them from 50 different counties in order to get this issue on the ballot.
It's so exciting to have seen this just transform from something really small to something really big. I mean, we're rivaling Tulsa and Oklahoma City and Kansas City now in terms of our size of our pride.
It's been a growing for a lot of the years in the region, and tonight hundreds gathered in Fayetteville to start Northwest Arkansas Pride Weekend. 5 News photojournalist Kelsey Jacobson went to Dixon Street to hear from the people walking in tonight's Trans March.
And it's just a really great time for the community to get together, show that, hey, we do exist in this area, we live right next to you, we're just your neighbors, and we're not really any different than anyone else. I draw frogs quite often.
I love the artistry. I'm jealous. Trans kids alone, we can fit it right there. I don't know how big you want trans kids to be.
A representation, for the trans community, as well as people of different cultures, ethnicities, backgrounds, things like that. Because when they see representation, they're like, yes, that's me.
But just seeing how this community has grown, how vocal our area is, both in the queer community, but also in the allies. It's really reassuring, and it's also just a really beautiful time to see everybody be here to celebrate ourselves and celebrate the freedoms we have. We're all just trying to get through life, and everybody has struggles, everybody has challenges, and right now with our current administration and the state of our nation, life can be pretty tough in this corner of the world, but we're not so different, and we just want to be loved, and we want to be able to live with our families and our friends and live authentically as ourselves.
As a reminder, the Pride Parade will go down Dixon Street tomorrow night at 6. Parts of Dixon Street will start closing at 3 tomorrow afternoon, along with several streets around it. Highland Avenue, West Avenue from Dixon to Spring Street and the Upper Amble will also be closed.